Collected a parlay with total odds of 9.2, let's break it down. First pick, PSG vs Arsenal, and here I found a really interesting bet because many people will automatically start thinking about Arsenal's incredible defense, their clean sheet streak, and the way Arteta's team went through almost the entire tournament without any serious breakdowns. But personally, I think this final will be the toughest test the English defense has faced in the entire Champions League campaign. And I'll start with PSG because right now, the Parisians look like a team that has prepared almost perfectly for the biggest match of the season. League One was basically wrapped up back in spring, so Luis Enrique had the chance to manage the workload calmly, rotate the squad, and bring his key players into the final in optimal condition. And most importantly, all the main attacking pieces are ready. Hakimi and Dembele are back, Kvaratskhelia is having a brilliant season and has recorded goal contributions in 7 straight playoff matches. And when you look at PSG's overall scoring numbers in the Champions League, it becomes clear why this team has reached the decisive stage of the tournament for the 2nd year in a row. They are just 1 goal away from Barcelona's record for goals in a single campaign. This is the best attack in Europe right now. What impressed me most isn't just the number of goals, but the quality of finishing. In their last 6 playoff matches, PSG created around 8.4 xG but scored 18 goals. That means they are converting almost everything they create, and that is exactly what makes them so dangerous. Even if the opponent defends well, PSG often need only 2 or 3 chances to punish any mistake. At the same time, Luis Enrique's team can play in different ways. If they need to dominate, they dominate through possession and high press. If they need to be more cautious, they can sit slightly deeper and patiently wait for their chance. The second leg against Bayern showed that perfectly. Guys, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post match breakdowns every single day and always try to keep my subscribers in profit. I'm also always open to fair criticism and your own betting opinions in the comments. I read all of that. Guys, here's my Telegram and my stats. I work as transparently and honestly as possible. I even pay taxes as an individual entrepreneur. I am one of the few in this space who actually works openly and fairly. The link is in the description below. Now about Arsenal. Of course, this is one of the best defensive teams in the tournament. Only 6 goals conceded across the entire campaign, 9 clean sheets. Those numbers are genuinely impressive. Arteta has built a very organized system that rarely allows opponents to create a large number of dangerous chances. But there are a few important details here. First, Arsenal have not always faced an attack as strong as the current PSG side. Second, before the final, the English team have squad issues exactly where mistakes against this kind of opponent are unacceptable. Ben White is out, Timber is doubtful, which means there are serious risks of the right side of the fence. And I think Luis Enrique will target that area heaven. When you have Dembele, Hakimi and Kvaratskhelia attacking you, any weak zone immediately becomes the number 1 target. At the same time, I don't think Arsenal are doomed here. They have their own strength. The Gunners are excellent on set pieces, very dangerous in quick transitions, and know how to punish opponents who play with a high defensive line. And PSG do play high, so Arsenal will definitely have chances. But if we compare squad depth, attacking quality, and the current form of the leaders, the advantage still belongs to the French side. I also like PSG's recent record against English clubs. Over the last 2 seasons, the Parisians have regularly knocked out Premier League representatives and have already proven they can handle this type of football. Plus, we shouldn't forget their experience in finals. PSG have won 8 of their last 9 decisive matches, and things like that rarely happen by accident over a long stretch. That's why I don't want to go too deep into pure outcomes here. A final is final, and one episode can change everything. But I really like the angle through PSG and moderate scoring. Arsenal are too organized for this match to turn into a crazy shootout. But completely stopping the best attack in Europe will be extremely difficult. So for the parlay, I am comfortably taking 1x plus under 4.5 goals. And if we are talking about a bigger odds option for the crazy parlay, I am taking PSG team total over 1.5 at 2.2 odds. Second pick, Grêmio vs Corinthians, and here I found another really interesting bet because at first glance this match looked extremely dangerous for predictions. The teams are close in the table, both have 21 points, and the price of a mistake is so high that any defeat could drag the loser right toward the relegation zone. But if you dig deeper and look at the numbers, a pretty clean picture appears. And I like this match specifically from a goals perspective. I'll start with Grêmio because at home this team looks completely different from how they play away. On their own pitch, they play bravely, aggressively, and create a huge amount of chances. The edge number is especially impressive, 2.23 expected goals per match. That's a very strong figure for the Brazilian league. Even more, the team is actually underperforming in finishing compared to the chances they create. The Grêmio could easily be scoring even more if they were slightly better with their opportunities. At home, they average 1.75 goals per game, which is one of the best numbers among teams in the lower half of the table. But there is another side to this. Grêmio's defense is far from perfect. They make mistakes regularly, concede around 1 goal per match, and before this game, the situation gets even more complicated because of squad issues. Key defender Luis Eduardo is unavailable, starting goalkeeper Gabriel Grande is injured, and there are other absences too. And that makes the match even more interesting from a goals angle. Now let's look at Corinthians. Fernando Deniz's arrival can't really be called successful yet. Yes, the team is trying to rebuild under new style, control the ball more, and play on the front foot. But so far, that has created more problems than solutions. The last 7 matches are very telling. By XG, Corinthians lost 6 of those 7 games. Their average expected goals number is only 0.68, which is very poor for a club of this level. But I still don't think the visitors are completely hopeless in attack. Away from home, they still create around 1.17 xG per match, while their actual goals are noticeably lower. So there is some underperformance in finishing here too. And against a weakened Grêmio defense, their chances of finally converting those moments become much higher. The league context is also very important. This is not a situation where both teams can calmly accept a draw and move on. The table is extremely tight, and a win would seriously improve the position of either side. So nobody will sit in defense for the full 90 minutes, especially if someone conceded first. Then the game is almost guaranteed to open up even more. And that's exactly why I like the goals angle here more than the outcome. There are too many questions around the winner. Grêmio are generally strong at home, but the defensive absences are concerning. Corinthians are unstable, but they still have enough quality in the squad to punish mistakes. If we look at the numbers again, it becomes clearly why the goals market is the most attractive. So I'm not going to invent anything complicated here. For the parlay, I'm comfortably taking over 1.5 goals, and if we are talking about a bigger odds option, I'm taking 1x plus over 1.5 goals at 2.1 odds. Another game I broke down more as a single, but it can also be added to the parlay. Athletico Paranaense versus Mirassol. And here I found a very interesting bet because bookmakers are quite confident in making the host favorites. But if you look closely at the numbers at current form of both teams, it becomes clear this may not be an easy walk for Athletico. Still, the hosts do have an advantage, especially at home. I'll start with them. Athletico Paranaense are still fighting for the highest position and a Copa Libertadores spot, so motivation is absolutely there. Their home record is especially impressive, 6 wins, 2 draws and 1-1 defeat. At home the team plays with real confidence, scores almost 1.8 goals per match, and their XG of 1.66 confirm those goals are not random. Even more, the Hurricanes are very solid defensively at home too. Only 0.67 goals conceded per game and an XGA of 0.73 show that the defense is genuinely working well, not just getting lucky. That's exactly why Athletico pick up points so consistently off their own pitch and remain one of the toughest home teams in the league. But there is one nuance I don't love. They come into this match with noticeable squad losses. Several defensive players are out, and Portillo is unavailable too, and this gives the visitors some chances. Because Mirassol, despite sitting in the relegation zone, don't look hopeless at all right now. If you look only at the table, you might think they are collapsing and going down. But the last 6 rounds tells a different story. 3 wins during that stretch is a very serious result for a struggling side. Yes, their away numbers are still weak. 5 defense in 7 matches, but their attacking play looks better than the actual goals suggest. Their average away XG is 1.70, so they create chances regularly, but finishing lets them down. That's why I wouldn't be surprised if Mirassol managed to cause the favorites some problems here. The league situation is also very important. Athletico need maximum points to fight near the top. Mirassol desperately need points to survive. That safety zone is only a few points away, so the visitors definitely will not play only for a draw. And when both teams are motivated only by winning, matches usually become more open than expected before kickoff. So I don't want to overcomplicate this. The most logical parlay option is Athletico Paranaense team total over 1. At home they create consistently and average almost 2 goals per game. And if we are talking about a bigger odds option, I like Athletico to win plus under 4.5 goals at 2.0 odds.